It's 8 p.m. and here are our top stories. The invasion of Ukraine continuing into its third night. The president of Ukraine sending a warning as Russian forces close in on the capital.
This night will be very difficult. The fate of Ukraine is being decided right now.
Here at home, Coloradans feeling powerless to help loved ones.
My mom, she almost had a heart attack last night, so she's not able to travel.
Left watching, waiting.
I'm talking to my parents every hour.
And worried with no end in sight.
You never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Plus, Colorado turning a corner on the pandemic.
There is no claiming victory with regards to the virus.
Governor Polis prepares the state for a return to normalcy.
It's time for us to turn the page and start a new chapter.
Tonight, Ukrainian President Zelensky predicting an all-out attack on the country as heavily armed Russian forces continue advancing into the capital of Kyiv. Zelensky mirroring a dire warning from U.S. intelligence officials that the capital city could fall within days.
So far, Ukraine says 137 soldiers and civilians have been killed. Technically, the UN recorded a lower number, but it also admitted that more have likely been killed than is officially known.
Good evening, and thank you for watching Denver 7 News on Local 3. I'm Jessica Porter.
I'm Danny New. The UN said today that more than 50,000 people have fled Ukraine in the last few days, mostly to Poland and Moldova. Meanwhile, this is what could be waiting for those who stay. Parts of Kyiv, a city with a population of nearly 3 million people, were attacked this morning. Artillery striking schools, apartments, and bridges indiscriminately.
NATO has agreed to send thousands of troops to protect allies near Russia and Ukraine, while the White House confirming the U.S. will join other NATO countries in sanctioning Russian President Vladimir Putin directly. As we watch the invasion play out, the underlying feeling is that we are powerless and unable to do anything to stop this.
And then for Colorado families with loved ones in Ukraine, we can only imagine. Here's Denver 7's Bayan Wang with more.
I have my mom and my dad over there in Kyiv.
Within miles of Yana Kuryanka's family, more than 130 Ukrainian casualties reported.
I'm talking to my parents every hour. It's really scary.
Kuryanka didn't share family photos out of fear for their safety. In fact, hours before her interview, she was planning her parents' escape.
I tried to send my parents to Poland just like today, probably like 5 hours ago, but my mom, she almost had a heart attack last night, so she's not able to travel. She's already not feeling well just because of the situation.
Kuryanka says worse than the fear is the feeling of helplessness.
What am I supposed to do from here?
The uncertainty of tomorrow is also felt in areas outside of Kyiv.
My brother, me and my daughter, grandma.
Olena Myronenko's family lives in the western region of Ukraine.
They cannot live normal life and just, go to work. Their new normal is watching news and listening for siren. Like today they had a siren going off. And they run to the basement because, nowadays you don't know if it's, just training siren or really something happening. It's really scary for them.
While many are understandably fleeing from all parts of Ukraine, Myronenko's family has decided to stay, at least for now.
All their life they work really hard. They have a house there. They have a little restaurant there, so that's all they have in this life.
For so many Ukrainians, independence has always seemed fragile. The last 48 hours has proven to be the sum of all their worst fears. Bayan Wang, Denver 7.
Colorado's pension fund will divest $7 million from a Russian bank. The divestment is not a matter of protest. Instead, it is required because of recent sanctions by the federal government.
Keep in mind the Russian banks are the Russian government. It's a totally different system there of state control of the economy. And so anything we can do to ratchet up the economic pain and stringent sanctions, and Colorado needs to do its part.
We are told another rally for Ukraine will take place tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the Colorado State Capitol. As of now, more than 130 people have marked themselves as attending on Facebook.
But it is time to acknowledge that we've reached a point in Colorado where Coloradans who are fully vaccinated can freely live without undue fear.
Just like that, Governor Polis today saying that while we are not done with the coronavirus, we are finished dealing with the pandemic as we've come to know it, saying all vaccinated Coloradans can return to life as normal.
But after 2 years of guidelines and mandates and protections, navigating the next phase of the pandemic doesn't feel that simple.
Denver 7's Patrick Perez spoke to business owners in Denver who, while appreciative of the announcement, say there's still much recovery left to be seen.
I think the overwhelming reaction we got today from some of the people that we spoke with is cautious optimism. This reminds them a lot of when people got vaccinated last summer and we thought this was all over with. Well, then Delta came around and so did some of those restrictions. But businesses like restaurants hope this feeling of good news and the end of the emergency part of COVID-19 will make people want to head back out. We spoke with the owner of Carmine's in Denver today, who says he's still hearing from customers who are just now going back to sitting at the bar. It's a good sign, but these restaurants, they are still struggling. They're having problems with supply, with costs, with labor. For owner Brad Ritter, the COVID emergency, if you will, isn't over just yet.
Every day is a question. You don't know what's going to be today's challenge. We're not done by any means. There's still a lot of evolution that I think we can expect in our business and in this business and in the industry.
Now, in addition to restaurants having to figure out how to move forward, so are Coloradans who are immunocompromised or have underlying health conditions. Governor Polis says they should ask their doctor about possibly getting a fourth shot or wearing masks in some settings. For now, UC Health, for example, will still require masks in its healthcare settings. Its senior medical director of infection prevention says the good thing about this new chapter is that what applies to a hospital doesn't have to apply to everyone.
I think the nice part of this is that it allows individuals to make a little bit more focused decisions based on their own health or those that they live with or around.
The biggest takeaway today is that our government and our hospital systems have learned a lot these past 2 years. So if another severe variant like Delta comes around, they will be ready, and so will we. For Denver 7 News on Local 3, I'm Patrick Perez.
Thank you, Patrick. And Governor Polis' announcement came just about an hour before the CDC updated guidelines on indoor mask wearing. Under the new ones, more than 70% of Americans should be able to remove their masks indoors, including inside schools. CDC has new metrics to determine community spread, which are based on new COVID hospitalizations, hospital capacity, and new COVID cases. And based on those guidelines, more than half of U.S. counties are considered to be at low or medium risk of COVID spread. Those counties account for where 75% of the population live.
When the Marshall Fire destroyed more than 1,000 homes, most people thought their insurance would cover the cost to rebuild. But our investigative team has learned many fire victims are finding that's not the case. Here's Denver 7 investigative reporter Jennifer KOVALESKI.
Fire victims with insurance are being told they'll have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to rebuild.
For a house fire, the house is fully engulfed.
Victims who lost everything are finding they're underinsured, meaning they'll have to make up that difference in cash to rebuild their lives, something experts say can happen in large-scale disasters. But the homeowners we talked to say there should have been protections in place.
I think it's a systematic problem. There should have been a fail-safe.
Insurance experts say it's important to update your policy every year, but we found homeowners who did update their policies are still falling short.
It was absolutely represented to us as a policy that would replace our home in the event of a loss.
We take their concerns to Colorado's insurance commissioner and find out what the state is doing about the problem. I hope you'll join us tonight on Denver 7 News at 10 for our full investigation. I'm Denver 7 investigative reporter Jennifer KOVALESKI.
Thank you, Jen. Coming up on Denver 7 News at 8, there has to be a first. President Biden's first pick for Supreme Court, now the first black woman to be nominated.
I can only hope that my life and career will inspire future generations of Americans.
How this nomination could change Colorado's justice system.
And snow is ready for its close-up, Mr. DeMille. We share one photographer's quest to capture the beauty of snowflakes.
I'm meteorologist Stacey Donaldson. It'll be cold tonight. Temperatures in the single digits overnight here for the Front Range. And then we have a huge warm-up coming our way. I'll tell you how warm the weekend's going to be in just a few minutes.